Broke town at Olcott Beach. We're at the Lockport Inn and Suites, waiting for the flatbed back to Rochester. We are back from Olcott Beach. We had to get flatbedded back from Lockport because we broke the rear shock mount. The body is riding right on the rear end here. So now we've got to clean this up and re-weld. Well, got the back wheel off here. Now we can see the suspension mount that's supposed to attach to the rear end, and it is completely broken free. So we got to start dismantling and get this piece welded back up, and I think I'm going to check the other side and may have to re-weld that one too, and it's gotten stressed and it's could be about to break down also. Here is the problem. This whole bracket is supposed to be attached right up there to the rear end. Completely broken free. The shock mounts to this. The shock is my rear suspension coilover. So I'm going to take this off of here, clean this up, clean up the rear end area here, and get it clamped back in place and proceed to re-weld better than before. Okay, we got that mount disassembled, so we're going to put it in the vise here, do some grinding, get rid of all that old weld, clean it up, get it ready for re-welding. I did a whole lot of grinding on that. Now we got to do some grinding on the rear end housing and see how things fit. Checking the fit. That looks like it's going to work. Now we get to grind all the old weld off the rear end housing. Alright, the housing is all ground and cleaned up. This bracket is going to fit on there like that. We just have to get it lined up, the proper angles, the proper distance, and tack weld it. But first we got to lift this body higher, leave the rear end setting where it is, and get the body up out of the way. Okay, I think I got the bracket all lined up where it should be. Same angle as the other side. We're going to do some tack welding, and then we'll try out the fit, see how that goes. to get this rear end sitting square with the front end, trying to get some measurements from the front axle, which is lined up perfectly on the frame. So I'm running a tape measure off of each side, and I'm going to check from the center of the axle, and over on the other side I've got a tape measure going the same way. I'm going to take some measurements here, and that's how we will adjust the rear axle lined up very square with the front axle. We don't want one back wheel closer to the front wheel than the other. After careful adjustment of this trailing arm, we now have the center of the axle at 103.5 on the driver's side. And 103.5 on the passenger side. It was off by a ½ inch or more from side to side, but now we are square. Okay, tack welded, and time to check for the fit of everything that bolts onto there. Just did a whole bunch of welding, got this bracket all welded back in. Kind of trying to weld upside down here, but hopefully that's welded on very solid. Now we got to put the shock back on there and let the other side down, grind away some bad welds on that side, and re-weld over there. There we go. Okay, over on the passenger side, let's lift this up just enough to pull the bolt out for the shock. There we go. Gonna tie this off and do a little grinding. A little light on this here, you can see. Some rust, possibly a little cracking, and around on the front side. Definitely doesn't look too good right there. So we're going to re-weld this one before we break it off like we did the other side. I've ground away the weld on the passenger side, so now we're going to re-weld this with better penetration. Sides looked pretty good. The back was in trouble. And some grinding on the front. So now it's time to re-weld these spots. Okay, the passenger side is all welded up. Just a matter of cleaning it up and painting. Then we can reassemble and do a few adjustments. Sprayed a good coat of paint on both sides. Now by tomorrow we can start reassembly and check all the alignment. Everything's reassembled, tightened up. All we're going to do is take it for a test drive. Test drive. Let's see how she runs. Running pretty smooth so far. I take it down Route 250 where we can get it up to 55 or 60. Felt pretty smooth, no vibration. I think we're all fixed up now. Back on the road. The only difference I feel, the steering wheel is centered better. It used to be on an angle like this, and now it appears to be straight when we're going straight down the road. That's probably due to the 1-inch correction on the wheelbase. So that's all good. Back on the road for another 10 years, at least.